Well, the UFC 296 press conference just took place, and let's just say it was pretty interesting. A bit of trash talk was said, to say the least. There were a few insults flying around, a few low blows going. That's the simple way to put it. But a lot took place. There was a lot of shit that went down. Colby Covington, as expected, ran the show. He fucking made himself the only one heard in the whole arena and just captured the attention of the whole crowd and the whole fucking audience watching as well. So I'm going to go through the press conference briefly, just running off my memory and kind of recapping it, talking about what I thought of the whole thing. But we started off with Colby Covington. Obviously, they said something to Leon first. Colby, insulted him, said he stumbles and mumbles and stuff like that. And then Colby Covington gets up and, he does his whole fucking 1776 Washington spiel and all of this shit, saying, who's here for the American Revolution? And then he says to the whole crowd, who here's fucked Ian Gary's wife? And the whole crowd just cheers. And he's like, that's unfortunate for UFC. They're going to have so many names to add to the fight shorts. So I don't like Colby that much, but I'll give him credit. That was a fucking good line. Good stuff from Colby Covington. And he started off well. He was firing on all cylinders. He wasn't sounding like an idiot. He wasn't stumbling. He wasn't mumbling. He wasn't forgetting what he was meant to say. A lot of the times, Colby, you can tell his lines are rehearsed, but then sometimes when the person will go back at him, then he has to kind of think on the fly, and a lot of his trash talk when he has to think on the fly isn't that good. He can come up with some good lines, but because he is putting on an act, which I'm going to talk about it in a bit, he's apparently putting on an act, so a lot of his lines, on the fly, aren't that good, but he was doing well. He was, taking over Leon Edwards, he was shutting him down. He was saying, who'd you beat before Usman, which kind of doesn't work, because it's yeah, but he beat Usman twice, and you lost to him twice, so kind of got to shut up. But yeah, they were kind of going back and forth, insulting each other. I don't remember the exact order of things that happened, but the media asked a question to Wonderboy saying, you're one of the nicest guys up here. What do you think about the trash talk? And then Colby says, you're telling Wonderboy he's one of the nicest guys up here. He drives around with his dad in a van with the windows shut, luring kids in with candy and karate. So he's basically implying that Stephen Thompson's a nonce, just to say the non-extended word of that, so I don't get demonetized. But yeah, he said, Stephen Thompson treats kids how Israel Adesanya treats his dog. That's the simplest way that I could put this without, the YouTube alarm bells going off. But then, so that was funny, right? And then he said, all that kind of thing. He said you should be on a different list, and that kind of just brought everyone down a little bit, and that got everyone it's a bit cringe, because it's funny when you're implying it, and I enjoyed that line, but then when he's actually kind of trying to tell Stephen Thompson that he's a Epsteiner, then it just gets a bit weird, and then he's whatever, pedo. He sounded like he almost got angry towards the end of it, he wanted to, make it clear that Stephen Thompson's a fucking, SEX offender. So that was interesting from Colby. I wasn't the biggest fan of the second half of that. I liked the first part where he's, drive around in the van with kids and stuff, trying to lure them in with candy. That was funny, but then when he actually, said, when he actually tries to make it seem he's you're not on the top 10 list, you're not on the pound for pound list, you should be on a different list that the whole community knows of. Bro, come on, you're dragging it a little bit. At some point in there, Brandon Royval made a joke. The reporter asked him where his nickname ranks in the UFC, and he's best. Said nicknames are earned, not given. So, Brandon Royval doing the raw dogging. That was pretty funny. Pantoja and Shavkat both just gave pretty generic answers in their second language. Shavkat didn't even speak English. The translation for Shavkat's not good. He needs to get a better translator. It's just I know he's not saying much. He couldn't care less. Shavkat's just there to fucking fight. He doesn't even care about the press conference. But I don't know, it just seems kind of a waste of time. When they had Leon and Colby who were just going at it, Paddy and Tony as well down the line went at it, it just seems like a bit of a waste to kind of go to Shavkat and ask him, what do you think of the fight? And Shavkat's translator would be I look forward to the fight, and I'm going to win the fight, and yes, good win, good fight, I look forward to. It's just, come on, man, let's just quit it. Pantoja gave some decent answers, I'm the best fighter, I'm gonna be the most entertaining fighter up here, or something like that. Pantoja's doing his work, he can't speak fluent English, but he's doing his job. But then, Tony and Colby had a bit of a go at it. Tony the reporter asked Colby, what do you think, like, who wins between Shavkat and Thompson? He's like, I don't care about prelim fighters, I don't care about people on the prelims, they're all bums. And then Tony's like, I'm the main event, and then I'm more American than you, right? And then Colby kind of went off at him. They both kind of went off at each other. And then Tony said something, and then Colby insulted him back, and he's like, that was meant to be a compliment. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm rooting for you. Let's fucking go. And then they had this whole, like, let's go, America, beat the British people. Colby kept calling them, I think, red coats or something like that, or blue coats, whatever he was saying, to make fun of the British people. He also insulted Leon at his hairline. He said there was a meteor on the top of his head, like he's got like a fucking bald spot on the top of his cranium, if you know what I'm saying. But Tony and Colby's weirdly like aggressive and then wholesome kind of moment was one of the highlights of the press conference too. What else was said? Tony and Paddy had a few goes. Like, Tony's like, I'm going to make you turn your face into a ketchup sandwich. Said he was going to slice him up. Paddy kind of at the start was really just not into it. Like, he was like, fuck do you mean, lad? I don't fucking care. I'm fucking just going to show up. It's a fucking lose-lose for me, lad. Like, Paddy was just kind of existing. And then Tony was trying to kind of start something like a little bit, like niggle him a little. My bad. Don't take... Oh, fuck's sake. I gotta stop saying that word. Everyone thinks I'm saying racial slurs. But, he was kind of trying to, like, edge him a little bit into it and try and make him start something. Paddy's like, I don't fucking care, lad. I'll fucking fight you on Saturday night. Like, Paddy's just doing his little voice. Just didn't really seem like he was into it too much. But then later on, like, towards the end of the press conference, it was actually the second last question. They said something, and then they were talking about some shit, and then Paddy's like, you're fucking old and washed, lad. And then Tony's like, I hope the fucking old Tony comes back, not this fucking washed old man. I'm gonna fucking knock you out and stand over your fucking unconscious body, lad. Like, so to be fair to Paddy, we don't like him because he's insulting Tony, but if you're looking at it in any other way and it's not Tony, like, that is good trash talk, so fair play to Paddy. Tony was kind of like iffy about it. He wasn't saying too much, all this kind of stuff. They had a bit of back and forth about Paddy like blocking Tony, and Tony's like, this fucking bitch is like, you're pussy, you focused on the wrong things. Then Paddy's like, fucking hell, mate, it's not that fucking deep. Like, he was kind of just trying. I don't think Paddy genuinely wanted to do too much, but then he's like, fuck it, at the end he just goes for it. But Leon and Colby were the main two talking points of this, because Colby Covington, they were getting into it, they were trashing each other's resumes and stuff. Leon's like, Masvidal, like, he was just laughing, like, saying who they're beating. Colby's like, who have you beat? Fuck, washed Cerrone, washed Diaz, washed RDA. Like, I mean, a lot of Colby's wins have been older as well, like washed Woodley, washed Lawler, all these kind of fights, washed Masvidal. So Leon like, washed Masvidal. So he said that, and then Colby gets heated. That's the thing, when Colby isn't able to just stick to his lines that he just pre-prepares, he gets really heated, and he just kind of yells at people and just like forgets it, and he's like, no, fuck you. Like, he kind of just has that sort of energy. And so they were talking, and then he's like, he was talking about his resume. He's like, Usman knocked you out. Headshot dead. he TKO'd you, and then Colby's like, he didn't knock me out, it was a fake fight, fake stoppage. The ref had to cheat to get the fight. You were getting your ass whooped in the second fight, and then you got a lucky head kick or some shit like that. I can't really do a Colby impression. But like, it kind of doesn't work, and I think Colby started to realize that, because he's like, well, yeah, like, I lost twice, and this guy won twice, so I can't really shit-talk him. He obviously said Leon would be an easier fight than Usman. He said Leon's not a draw. He said Leon, he asked him what level of elementary school, if he'd graduated elementary school or something like that. So, like, those were all fine, but then when he got real mad, and then Leon's like, I beat the guy that you lost to twice, along those kind of, along that line, then Colby's like, I'm gonna drag you into, like, the 7, he accidentally said 7, like, what is it, 7 levels of hair or something. He said 7 levels of hair, and he's like, 7 levels of hell. I'm gonna drag you into the 7 levels of hell, and I'll say hi to your dad while I'm there. I was like, while you're there, and then Leon just piffed a fucking can or something at him, didn't hit him, they stood up and kind of jarred off at each other. And then Colby kind of, I think, that's what happens with Colby, he kind of lets shit slip and just says the most dumb, or, like, personal shit when he gets angry. Like, he'll just scream at someone and all that kind of stuff. Like, Yeah, so that's what Colby does, right? And then Leon, obviously, rightfully so, got annoyed at him. Colby, I do think, crossed the line with that. You don't need to fucking bring up dead relatives. Like, making fun of Ian Gary's wife's different. They've put themselves in public eye. They've kind of chatted shit and all that. But when you're gonna then try and bring up fucking relatives, then that's just, like, a bit iffy. So, wasn't a big fan of that from Colby, but so, like, it's bringing up, like, relatives and shit. You just don't need to be doing that. You can call him dumb. You can say he's got a bad hairline. You can tell him he mumbles. Tell him he's uneducated. Tell him he's only beat bad fighters and all that. But you don't need to bring up his dead dad, man. Come on. Like, he said Usman's dad was in prison, and that got, like, a bit of an iffy reception. Like, people weren't too fond of that. But now we're going to bring up his dead dad. Like, come on, man. That's just not it. But in the face-offs, not too much, apart from any, like... One thing I just got annoyed at was, like, this pisses me off with every press conference. If guys are getting mad at each other, they're drawing back and forth, then can you fucking, like, actually just go back to them? Keep asking them, why are you asking Shavkat questions? Why are you asking Pantoja questions, like Roy Val? Like, Wonderboy pretty much didn't get asked a single question after the whole thing when he got called a fucking pedo by Colby. And then no one went back to him after that. So, he was just kind of sitting there. He took it well, though. He was just laughing it off. Because Wonderboy is a nice guy. But one thing I'm just like, go back to Colby. Start shit. Like, Tony and, like, Paddy had some trash talk. Tony and Colby had a brief moment. Colby and Leon were having lots of trash talk. Just keep going back to them. Ask each other questions. Like, try and fucking provoke shit, you know, poke their bear. But, yeah, it is what it is. Fucking Colby, bit iffy. I want him to get fucking slept now. And then in the face-off, they were obviously going back and forth. I think Colby said he was going to be, like, talking to him in his ear when he was taking him down and stuff. So, I do worry for Leon Edwards. He could be, you know... in the wrong place now. He could be really angry, and that could cause him to have some issues in the fight, but hopefully he comes in clear-headed, and hopefully he can deliver some justice to Colby Covington, because I really wasn't a fan of the dad, bringing up the dad, things like that. Like, the Ian Gary wife thing, that's funny, we all like that, because they've put themselves in public air, they've made themselves fucking unlikable, and they're also living beings, so it's like, come on, man. You don't need to fucking bring up the guy's dad. But anyway, I think Colby went a bit too far with that. But apart from that, he did well. A lot of his press conferences, like Masvidal, Usman, a lot of the lines were really corny, and he got kind of shitty with it because they would actually trash talk back. But Leon kind of didn't want to trash talk back. Like, he would say a little bit, and then he kind of wouldn't. But whenever you trash talk back to Colby, he gets, like, annoyed. He's like, I want to trash talk you and just own you and have you not be able to say anything back. But then if someone actually goes back and gets mad and then starts yelling, like, fuck you, you bitch, I'll fucking kill you. Like, it's just cringe. So, anyway, that was the UFC 296 press conference. It was great stuff. Just wanted to make this video quickly. I know I'm a little bit late. I had work, so I apologize for that. But I'll be back tomorrow with a couple videos, and then obviously Sunday/Saturday for the fights. Peace out, everybody.